Welcome to Whirlwind, where we're going to have game number 1 between Alive versus Arthur. Guys, this is Week 8 Division 1 officially starting because we did have Week 7 Division 4 going on with MC Thorzane and Tasia versus Targa. Up in the top right corner of the map, we have from Team Fnatic Raid Call, it is Alive. The Terran, who is the IPL 4 champion, who will have to defend his title and later on this month. And by this month, I mean next month, depending on what time zone you're in.
That's right.
And in the bottom left, we have from Team Slayers, it is Arthur, who will no longer be with Team Slayers as of November 3rd when they officially disband. Until then, Arthur has proven that he does belong in this league. He's done pretty well for himself. He's 3-2. He's managed to beat players like Rhett and Haswabs, dropped Polton Huck, but I still think he has an opportunity to do well. He still has to reschedule his match for DRG. I know people are asking about that, Andre, but Darwin Magoo was busy with OSL and also GSTL, so we're going to get that match to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, hopefully that'll come in pretty soon. But Arthur definitely showing that he has skill. I actually chose Arthur over Alive in this situation.
Oh, did you?
And it's just because it feels like the Fnatic house... Oh, actually... Oh, no. I was thinking the Fnatic house witnesses a lot of lag, but that's cross-server. This is played on the Korean server.
Yeah, this is Korea to Korea. And, guys, this was played 6 p.m., which I'm looking at the clock right now. It's 7:30, so it's an hour and a half ago that this series was started. So this is as fresh can be. That's pretty much one of our sayings here in the North American Star League, because we realize we want to have games flowing all throughout the night rather than stalling for time.
Yeah.
I picked Alive, Andre, because Alive's TVP has always been pretty strong. Even dating back to a year ago when Alive was first coming out as just this practice partner Terran before he became a tournament monster. Now, Alive, maybe he struggles a little bit with Terran still, but he also recently beat MC, who we saw has great profiles for Terran still. And I think Alive, everyone always underestimates him. Like, when do people always pick Alive to win a tournament? No one ever does. He's still kind of like the guy that's under the radar, but he's still a monster. And even though Fnatic House does have its internet issues, I think Alive is more than capable of taking this series.
I do too. I mean, definitely everybody has the ability to. I think odds are right now 50-50 because that's how evenly matched these two players are. But it comes down to, I feel like Alive does have more tournament experience, and that will potentially give him the advantage. Now, I say that, but I picked Arthur. But still, I feel like Alive, I could have picked Alive too and been like, yeah, and justified my answers with something like that. But we'll see. Time will tell. As it stands, Arthur knows his opponent is going for a gas first. A lot of times what you'll do is actually gas steal and then go something like Stargate tech. That's really, really popular these days just to defend against this. But it looks like we are going to be witnessing 3 gates. Now, 3 gates are definitely a great way to stop this, but if Cloak Banshees comes in, even though it is delayed Cloak Banshees, it could definitely do some serious damage. So Arthur trying to cut a couple of corners to really make him super efficient. We'll see if it actually helps out for him.
It seems like Alive's just going to go for standard Hellion control of the map. Maybe drop a starport to ferry the Hellions in, but I mean, you can just use those Hellions to run by. And this is if you suspect your opponent is going for a 1-gate tech and being super greedy, but that's not the case at all. Arthur is going for 3 gates just to be super duper safe. And it's really cool because he expects it. He's even walling off the top of the ramp, so no real damage is going to be able to be done here from the Hellions.
Now there is Warp Gate already finished. We can see 3 gateways and no expansion down yet. We could see a huge surge of units, and there it is. Oh my god, Alive is in big trouble, Frodan, because you can see Stalkers are very efficient against Hellions. Now the first Stalker will go down, traded for a Hellion, but you can, there's no defense at home. There's absolutely no defense.
There's 2 Marines and a bunker about to come up. Arthur might want to wait for a second warp in, and I think he will. He's waiting for more Stalkers before he pushes up the ramp, and that should be enough time for Alive to be able to stabilize because more Marines are coming out.
But don't forget, you can always circumvent this bunker. You can see how far back it is. That's a big problem. He can actually go around, work around the whole natural, and then be really, really cost efficient with your units. All he's doing is actually waiting for another warp in. This is going to be a heavy Stalker pressure. You can see still no expansion. That means there is going to be a bust on the bunker, or at least an attempt on the bunker.
Actually, Arthur is really resilient upon this. He even has, more pylons coming up, no probes being made. So this is pretty much all in from Arthur. He's going to try to bust the ramp. He does get the bunker that's immediately dropped, but there's a lot of SCVs buffering the damage. The Stalker count is starting to dwindle, and Alive might be able to stabilize here, but the Guardian Shield is doing a great job reducing damage from the Marines, giving them time to poke everything, but the bunker might finish for Alive as well, which it will. Beautiful. And that's going to be a good point, anchor point for Alive, but still the pressure's not done yet.
Yeah, this is actually really tough because, yes, that bunker finishes, but another pylon is going to put down here. And that's why I was saying these bunkers need to be placed over here. That would be a lot more effective, although a lot more risky. Again, putting down more pylons, great job at making sure that that probe stays alive the whole time. Alive really should have targeted down, but you can see just too many Stalkers Frodan, and this is going to net Arthur some big wins.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of SCVs already been killed off. Alive now down just to 10, warping themselves directly into the face of the Terran army. The Marines and Hellions do a pretty good job kiting, although Alive, again, not able to deal with that probe. That probe has been able to do so much damage because the pylons are coming in. Imagine if the reinforcement point was outside the ramp. Alive seems to be, again, stabilizing a little bit more, but a sick amount of damage has been done. Look how many workers are up for Alive.
Let's go ahead and look at it. Income 8 to 28. Are you kidding me? Arthur doing immaculate damage over here. And now that he has this bottom control, that's actually so scary because, oh, a single force field can actually ruin the day, Frodan. A Nexus will be dropped. Oh, he gets a salvage.
He salvages it.
That's unfortunate. But, you know, Arthur is super far ahead because when this happens, this used to happen all the time in Xel'Naga Caverns. When this happens, you have to wait until Starport Tech is out or be lucky with some sort of ghost EMPs. And that's probably not the best way to do it. So you have to be going over to Starport Tech. And with the small amount of SCVs that exist, it's hard to actually substantiate some sort of a claim to go and get more gas, go and get more starports, and then, of course, medevacs. So I feel like Alive is super far behind, even though the supplies show it very, very similar. And from here, I feel like Arthur is going to win. There's probably like a 70 to 80% chance that he's going to win this game.
Yeah, and if he didn't do damage, I mean, how far ahead Alive would have been, because there's no tech developed from Arthur, there's no expansion. So in a sense, if he didn't do damage, that was it, you know. Alive would go to run away with the game, but now we have this situation where Alive's just contained to one base, and he's mining out his main really quickly because of it. And now he doesn't even have his starport out really developed, while Robo has really been squeezed out, as well as +1 armor, which will be super clutch against only Marine composition with a couple Hellions.
And remember, as you said, mining out the main base is actually going to keep Alive on one base for so long. If you mine out this base and then take your natural, well, what do you really have at the end of the day? You have one mining base and then one mining base again. You can't get more barracks, which really limits the amount of production that you have. It looks like Alive will go ahead and get down to the bottom ground, but he's so far away from stim and combat shields. Any potential attacks are just so far away, but ooh, a couple of Hellions going to be able to pick off 2 sentries. Yum.
That's a nice little pick off for Alive. Still, though, he has to struggle with the worker deficit, 44 to 26. I don't care how good mules are, it's not going to be able to make up that difference. Alive hasn't even moved down his ramp yet either. He has to get something done, though. He can't just play from behind like this. So he's going to, I feel like he's going to, as soon as the 2 medevacs pop out, he's going to pressure, see if he can pick off some units, maybe some tech buildings, workers, do anything, because sitting back is exactly what Arthur wants.
I would actually really love him to do some sort of SCV pull. And the reason why I say that is because you need to do a lot of damage. You need to commit a little bit more. And when you're on one base for so long, there's no reason to have this many SCVs. Try to actually get your opponent to maybe even pull some probes, and then all of a sudden, wow, you're looking great. Look, there's no AoE for the Protoss. So that means there will be a lot of overkill on those SCVs. They're going to get healed, so you're looking good all around. I think an SCV pull would be quite good in this position, but Alive not choosing to do that. He's just going to try to do a little bit of damage here. And honestly, I think if he plays this right, if Arthur plays this right, there should be no chance.
Yeah, Blink will be done. He's already got +1 armor, and I mean, the drops will become less and less effective over time because his production will start kicking in because he's on more gates. Alive has to do some miracle clever tactics in order to really draw out the attention. And these P.E.K.K.A. Marines might be able to, but still, it's such a small force that Arthur should know he has to be doing something somewhere else, because why would he ever move out with this small of a force?
I don't know why Arthur is just committing so many Stalkers to this edge, because, oh my god, this is terrible. Alive's going to do so much damage. Can he get the blink? No, he won't.
But he's unpowering the Forge, getting 3 pylons, which is nice. Blink did manage to finish, but there's still a lot of units here. Now Alive's going to push into the natural as well. As Arthur paying attention, the Marines get into the face of the Immortal, also starting to target it down, which empowers the Marauders to keep shooting. Man. Alive is holding out pretty strong into the main, weakening enough units, although looks like Alive does not have enough on both fronts. And that should mean Arthur will be able to run away with this game, because there's still only 2 bases. Alive now dropping double engineering bay. But the momentum is completely on the side of Protoss.
Frodan, think if SCVs were pulled, that would have been so much better at the front. There was only a couple of Stalkers there, a couple of Sentries, and an Immortal. Of course, I'm making it sound a lot less, but still, there's not a lot of units there. Let's say 20 SEVs were pulled. Yes, that's still a substantial amount of his Harvesters, but he's going to be successful. He's going to get above that ramp and have a ton of units just dealing out a lot of damage, because so many SEVs were actually tanking the damage. But now we have a situation where Alive wasn't successful with his attack, and because of that, there's a lot of problems out for him. As you can see, Blink Stalkers are right outside the base. You can blink up into the main base, I do believe, and also you can just do damage at the front. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes ahead and just does Blink Stalker Micro and tries to win it out right here, because 2 Immortals can actually kill all of those units. And now he's going to pull SCVs because he realized, oh no, I have to do something. I have to defend against this really drastically. But in fact, a 3rd base is going down for Protoss.
Yeah, Arthur is playing all his cards correctly, hiding information, as well as controlling the map. Love his choice into Templars as well, realizing mobility is so strong on a map like Whirlwind, because it's a pretty big map, and a lot of people say sometimes it's a little bit too big if you want to play for like that stable kind of Colossus style. That's why a lot of people don't necessarily like mech on this map. I like the general's pick of Templars on this on Whirlwind.
Yeah. Templars overall are super good in terms of mobility, I think. Not only like can you just put you can't just put a single Colossus down in an expansion and be like, oh, I'm safe. But if you put a High Templar there, then yes, you can actually substantiate that, because you can feedback, you can storm. There's a lot you can do with High Templars. So I love High Templars, especially on big maps. They're just the overall better way to go. Cannons are being placed, just being super comprehensive in his defense against any potential multi-pronged aggression. Probes are being put in a really nice place as well to just make sure that his opponent is still on 2 bases. Unfortunately, Alive might think that his opponent is only on 2 bases, but of course we know he's on 3. And Alive going to push out yet again, but he's so far behind in upgrades, not only in his Ghost and in his tech, but as you can see, just 1-1 finishing now. That's actually a big problem for him.
Yeah, no, Alive knows his opponent has to be at least on 3 base of some sort. There's no way that that Arthur would be this passive if he was on 2 base. He would try to go for a massive timing, and he would especially shut down the Terran in 3rd base now that he knows it's up. Alive has to be very careful, because Arthur is just going to go ahead and move out towards the middle of the map. He's got a couple Immortals as well as some High Templars with energy to storm. 2-1, so there is a 1 upgrade advantage for Protoss, which actually is pretty significant, especially for Zealots with charge. We'll see if Alive's going to do anything, but without Ghost, this order is extremely tall, Andre.
He needs like the best umbrella ever. You need to go ahead and spread out all your units. Because
the SCVs!
Don't. Good.
Oh.
The storm is correct there, or excuse me, not storming there is correct. You want to save it for the units because you have such a limited amount of it. You can see only 3 so far, but oh my god, this is what you're saving it for. Beautifully done. Alive actually going to dodge a lot of that.
Massive damage regardless, though, because the units still have to stim again and back off, and these kinds of stims are just going to hurt Alive more and more. Medevacts are healing as fast as they can. SCVs aren't even really pulled. Alive thinks he can still hold this without SCV support. No, he's starting to pull them. The soccer count is very high. Marauders are holding valiantly, but there's just too much damage in the Protoss army. Alive now quadrupled in supply. GG gets called, and game number 1 goes to Arthur.
Well played by Arthur, just continuing his advantage on. That's exactly how you play it out. He'd made one mistake, if anything, not defending the main too successfully, but you can see he just had so much stuff on the ground that he really, really took it home. I still feel like an SEV pull would have been the best, but of course, Alive, making those kind of calls is really tough. You don't really have a position where you get one base, you survive against it, and then actually say, oh, I should actually pull SEVs here. That just doesn't come up. And even that is super risky. So I don't blame him for the path he took, but Arthur playing that out beautifully.
Game number 1 was brought to you by Stamps.com. Go to NASL.TV/P/Stamps for a special $5 discount for hassle-free postage from your PC. When we come back, game number 2 between Arthur versus Alive. What's going to happen? We'll find out right after this break.